Alright, welcome back to Assetto Corsa. We are in a map that is actually a little bit older. I think it was originally launched in the 2020 time frame, give or take. This is, let's see if I can pronounce this, Peyregrosse-Mandagout route. It is I guess a rally stage. It is 12.8 kilometers, so it's pretty long, and should be fun. I seem to recall reading somewhere that it's known as being one of the deadlier routes in terms of driving, and my brief exploration of the early parts of this this map seemed to seemed to validate that. So let's go ahead and drive it and see what we get. I'm going to take it a little easy because it is a little treacherous. Clock starts there? No. Why did the clock not start? Well, there it goes. Weird. Yeah, I've been looking for maps that I've not seen before or not driven before that are a little bit longer, because the short stuff, even the tracks, I can only go around so many times before I figure you guys are going to get bored. And oh, that's a nasty turn. And I don't want to bore you. The longer stuff is, I don't know, more conducive to conversation. Though it is a one-sided conversation. I'd stream these, but the problem with that then becomes not everybody's going to be able to watch it at the same time when I actually stream it live, so wouldn't be able to participate in the conversation anyway. But you can comment on the videos, and that's always welcome. By the way, when I loaded this up, my map was not loading properly. So I had to recreate the map using the surfaces file, and as you can see, it drew a nice little map. Oh, nice little car off to the side there. Nice wreck. It is a pretty long map, and it is not for the weak at heart, because you can see these are nice cliff drops. This is in France. These rally stages, I have to wonder if it wouldn't be easier to drive them with somebody shouting in my ear what was coming up around the corner. Here I have to kind of see it and respond to it. Going through a little village. That's scary. Gets knocked out of bed by a car coming through that little narrow window. Wouldn't that be a fun thing? Hear a car racing up through your little village, and then all of a sudden hear big crash and feel the shake of your house, get knocked out of your bed, all because somebody hit your house. Not be fun. if I had a house like that, what I'd do is I'd Airbnb it for the weekend the rally was in town and let it surprise somebody else, and I'd be on a beach somewhere. Wow. Never understood the mentality, like even in the days of old, where you see the spectators at the rally standing really close to the line where the cars are going to be. Never understood that. I mean, I'm a race fan. Don't get me wrong. Wow, that's tight. And I spent my time in the pits and paddocks and even hot pits. But that's not out on the race circuit. Can't say I'd be as inclined to hang out on the race circuit. Just waiting for a car to come around and sweep me off my feet, as it were. I guess that was common in the early days of racing, is that, you know, people wanted to get close to the sport and sometimes got killed in the process. Got too close. One of the channel viewers was asking me if I might do a video on kind of a deeper dive of the history of Le Mans, and started considering that, and so I started doing a little bit of research into the track and some of the changes that have occurred, and you know, some of the bigger safety changes that they did in that track occurred between the 1955 horrible crash and 1956, primarily to pull the grandstands back away from the track and widen the pit area. Well, I guess widen the area where the pit area is, so that the track wasn't so narrow through there, and the pits were a little wider. And all about that, you know, getting too close to the track. Most of the changes to the Le Mans track were actually done in response to needs to get off of public roads and not drive through villages, and just make the road safer. All the changes are related to that. Yeah, kind of interesting history. This is a treacherous track. I feel like I should be driving it faster, but I don't dare. But yeah, I don't know if I'm committed to doing an entire video just talking about Le Mans history, although I know now of two versions of the track that exist that I do not yet have. One's a version of the original 1923 version of the track. It was 10.1 miles, I believe. And it went through some villages and looked a little bit like a triangle. It was very, very long and pointed at one end, and kind of a there and back again sort of a track when it originally opened in 1923. But then there's another version of course, that I showed, which was from 1967. And then there's another one from 1988, which is when the track was probably at its most interesting, at least to me, is it had some of the modern stuff like the Porsche curves and the Ford chicanes and all the stuff that we've grown accustomed to, but lacked the chicanes on the Mulsanne Straight. So in the modern era, that Mulsanne Straight was probably pretty intense. Well, I remember it, actually. I remember races from when I was a kid, and seeing how fast those cars got at the end of the straight. I guess they were pushing upwards of 400 kilometers per hour, which is well over 240. And that becomes a little dangerous, especially when you think about cars driving for 24 hours and heat soaking those brakes, and you're basically driving for a really long time without the brakes being used, and then all of a sudden you ask the world of them to stop the car. That is a recipe, kind of the hot, cold cycles there. It's a recipe to have brakes explode, I guess. It's probably not very good. Then, of course, there's the modern era of the track that I have. So I have the 67 and the modern era track, and then I guess that 1988 and 1923 would be ones that I'd have to add, and then I have to demonstrate some level of competence and period right cars for those drives. So the 1923, I'd have to find a 1923 era car that I could drive and competently demonstrate to the track, and those cars are hard to drive. I mean, very hard to drive. They're very different than modern era cars. I mean, you have to think well ahead of where you need to ask the car to do something, and then ask it really gently. Which way? I guess this way. So that is that. Fun track. Peyregrosse-Mandagout, France. And it's a rally stage. And we drove it in 1209 with me yammering about a lot of nothing and not really pushing the car that hard, but I didn't feel I could. There are a lot of really scary drops where you go off and you fall off the cliff, and that's no fun for anybody. So we definitely didn't want to do that. Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. And give me a shout in the comments if you'd like to see me actually do a walk through Le Mans, the history, go through the different versions of the track that we can put our hands on in Assetto Corsa and talk about the intervening changes between those versions of the track. I'd be happy to do that. I like history walks and I enjoy that, and you can probably put some interesting period specific cars on track to do that. But it's a lot of work. So going ahead and post a comment, or if you see somebody comment, give it a thumbs up, and if we get enough interest in that, I will do that here over the holiday season. I will be taking some time off from my regular day job, and part of that's to spend time with family and friends here at the holiday time, but I will also be doing a lot of driving and a lot of recording and doing some fun stuff. So got some stuff in my head that I want to do during the next couple of weeks, and we'll see if I can pull some of it off. Anyway, thank you for joining, and like, subscribe, and all that kind of good stuff, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye now.
Spaß Rennsport.